What is going on, guys? This is BlazBlue Gaming with my review of BlazBlue Alter Memory episode 12, and we are finally at the end. And to be honest, this episode, it was actually pretty good. This had to be the best episode in the entire anime, which is saying a lot, because even though this anime had his ups and downs, to me, this anime was actually pretty good. They did a good job making the games into an anime, and I'm actually glad they did it, because they didn't have to, but they did. And as much as I would love for them to continue on with the anime, that sadly can't happen. But for what we got overall, they did a pretty good job. So of course it starts off with Rachel and Kokonoe. They were saying that Ragnar had to kill Noelle because with his Azure Grimoire or his BlazBlue, he's the only one that can do it. And of course he didn't want to because he wants to save her. But throughout his fight with Noelle, you can see that Hakumen was like standing on the sidelines, and I was wondering, why is that? Because Hakumen could probably, help them a lot. And so to me, it was like very odd at first that he wasn't helping, but then we go back to like a little flashback where we have Ragnar telling Rachel to keep Hakumen out the way, and that he'll find some way to like end this on his own by saving Rachel. And throughout this battle, Jen just get wrecked. And to me, I was like really surprised because even though he got the power up with the power of water, he really wasn't doing much. He was kind of getting his butt handed to him by Noelle. And then we have Ragnar that was like trying to plead to that human inside of her, but at first it wasn't really working. And then they like cut back to where Hazama was, but he wasn't there anymore. But we see like this mask or something that was like left behind, and then we see the three gods or whatever you want to call them. We see those three people or beings. They were like sitting down in their chairs, but we also see like this black figure or entity had like snuck in there. And so like this fight between Ragnar and Noelle, it was pretty good. I definitely like the fighting, like Noelle bringing out all these like different little spears or whatever we want to call them. That was shooting out those laser beams. That right there was actually pretty cool. And then she just made this gigantic blade, and this thing looked freaking epic. I definitely like that. I know in the game, that right there is her actual heat. And in the anime, it definitely, lived up to that. Like, even though it didn't kill Ragnar, obviously, it was still pretty freaking powerful. So then, like, Ragnar wasn't going to give up. And then, like, at one moment, they had clashed. And then you see Lambda. And after the last episode, that right there still hit you in the feels. But Lambda actually gave her life inside Ragnar to save Noelle, because he used the idea engine to like reverse their connection so that Noelle would actually come back, and a Kusanagi or whatever it's called, that will go away. So now we have Noelle back, and then we have those three beings. They were saying that they were going to take Noelle power for themselves, but then we just have like this black ghost appeared who learned to be Hazama, and right away I knew who it was. Because it's obvious Hazama was there anymore, and yet we see some black figure like sneak into it to where the god is. And so Hazama had this plan all along, and they were saying without Noelle power, the eye, Hazama shouldn't be able to exist actually, but because he awoken something, he is still able to exist. And these gods were actually going to get rid of him. But he had Phantom prepare this virus because these gods, they are man-made. So it's like a computer, and this virus was like full of formulas and calculations that were definitely weird to them. So they have to spend an eternity to figure it out. So now Hazama, he actually got rid of a god. Even though it's manufactured, you still cannot take away that they had the power to be called a god, because we see that they reversed they had reversed an incident in the world that had took away Jen's life. And also, if you pay close attention to what Rachel called Hakumen, where she called him Mr. Hero, and we all know who else has that name, Jen. Now I'm not gonna ruin that right there. I'm not gonna ruin that bond between Hakumen and Jin. But if you guys want to look it up, then go right ahead. But I'm not going to ruin that for anybody that doesn't know about it just yet. But Ragnar actually did work. I mean, like, even though he used the idea engine, he lost his arm. And once Hazuma had got rid of the god Takamagahara, he actually came back and he was in his human body. And he was saying that, like, now that he can exist and the world is moving toward this day of ruin that the gods were like talking about, he was going to kill all of them. But then I believe his name was Religus, whoever he is, you know, that Clover guy. Him and Saya, they had appeared, and just when Hakumen were actually going in for the attack, he was blocked by Light-Chi's staff and Tsubaki. So now those two have officially gone to the dark side, and Ragnar has learned that his sister, like, after all these girls having Saya face, he has finally found the real one, and Saya is now the leader of the NOL as she is the Imperator. So that right there was a huge shock. But now she was planning on entering the world into a new age and bringing forth the Day of Ruin, which we have no idea what that is because they didn't go into much detail about it, and I have no idea what the new game is about just yet. So I'm not sure if the Day of Ruin happens in that game or gets extremely close. So I can't really elaborate on that as much as I would, but I just can't do it. So now after that, we actually reach the end of the series because they actually leave, but we have Hazuma and that guy, that Clover guy. He was saying that he actually made a new prime field, and it's the 13th one, and he was saying that this one was close to being perfected. And after he left, Hazuma actually gave it a name, or at least said its name, and it's called the Sword of Izanagi. So that right there just sounds pretty freaking epic. But we actually get this like pretty like a nice ending for like all the characters. We have Noelle being like woken up in this aircraft, and she is reunited with Makoto, so she actually did survive that fall. We have Jin, who has gone to train with Junbei. Now that's gonna be freaking epic. If you thought Jin was a badass now, just wait till he's done training with Junbei, because we all know that Junbei is the one that had trained Ragnar as well. And I do wonder, what exactly is the power of order, because it doesn't really seem like anything out of the ordinary, because nothing really changed about him. He still has control of a sword, and that's like really what it is. So I really wish that they would have went into like more detail about exactly what this power is. But we have Ragnar, who was being treated by Kokonoe, and we also saw Kokonoe go to the altar, where she had picked up what was left behind from Hazuma. But she actually she either gave Ragnar a fake arm, or she was able to actually regrow his arm. But now Ragnar is actually determined to find Saya, because he knows that it's the real one, and so he will go on his own journey. And then we have Tao or Taokaka. She's now going with him because somebody told her that Ragnar is a good guy, so she's gonna travel with him together. And we have Rachel that was like watching over him, and I definitely feel that like Rachel definitely has feeling for Ragnar, and in this anime, it kind of made it obvious that she does. But overall, I think this anime, it was pretty good. And this last episode, like I was saying, it was the best one that we got so far. I really wish that it would go on. And I'm hoping that the new game is released outside of Japan soon, because I do want to play it, and I probably will put that on my channel, because I do want to keep this like BlazBlue thing going. I mean, I could find the old games again and upload that, but I would just rather put the new one. Hopefully you all enjoy the anime like I did. Hopefully you all enjoy my reviews. As always, guys, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because that right there will just make my day. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.